you guys ready? Please welcome Phil Barassa, character designer, screenwriter Heath Corson. Heath. Dialogue director Andrea Romano. Producer James Tucker. And our Aquaman, Matt Lansner. All right, let's do this, everybody. My name is Steven, and you guys, like me, enjoy your Warner Brothers and DC movies. Am I correct? I am terribly sorry. I thought you all might have cared when I asked that question. I'm going to try it one more time because they're right there and they want to talk to you. I'm sorry. Do you like your DC animated movies? All right, let's just get it out the way right now. James, Justice League War. We know the story. We read the book. We're excited. There's no Aquaman in Justice League War. Can you?
Spoiler.
Yeah. You got a lot of heat for that. Can you explain the circumstances of why he was omitted and what led to this?
He was omitted so that it could lead to this. This story is Aquaman's origin. This starts and shows you where Aquaman came from. If we had adapted War, we would have lost the ability to tell a story that totally featured Aquaman. Because in the graphic novel, he just shows up and has a shark bite a parademon, and that's it. We thought there's a little more story that could come from saving Aquaman for his own feature film. So we saved him. We took him out of War and saved him, and then we knew Throne from Atlantis was coming up as a graphic novel, and Jeff Johns himself was the one who made the suggestion. He said, save him up for his own movie. He deserves his own movie, and we all agreed.
Yeah, flat out. Aquaman is always taken advantage of. Go check out the docs. Aquaman has long been a favorite of mine, and I'm stoked to have this. I want to ask Phil about the art and character style. It kind of follows the New 52 approach, but how did that affect the design of Aquaman?
I mean, cosmetically, we're trying to take as much as we can from the New 52. But, we're not doing straight adaptations of the material. We're trying to sort of weave our own narrative, independent of the comics, while still being, respectful of what they're doing. As far as Aquaman's look, we did use the New 52 look as a springboard. What Jim Lee did, a lot of it works really well. It's not an overly complex design, so it lends itself to the medium of animation. And it was basically just taking as much of that as we could that would work for what we're doing and putting it into the style that we established first in Justice League War. So we're always using that stuff as a springboard if we can.
Any issues with adding the gills?
No, I mean, not at all. So much of what we do is, is dictated by the story first. So we needed to, based on the reveal of the gills in the script and in the story, we needed to kind of tuck them behind the ears so that it could be a reveal in the movie. So that the story always dictates our approach to design first.
Heath and James, the movies you guys put together, you're very sneaky. So are there any Easter eggs, things that we should be aware of that we can keep in mind when we get the Blu-rays in 2015?
Well, I mean, I'll say this. The end of this movie definitely teases the next movie. That's all I can say. And
just going to let that lie there like that?
You haven't heard well, yeah, you haven't heard the end of Orm. I'll put it that way. Orm. There's more for Orm.
We'll take it. All right, so any changes in animation style with putting everything underwater?
We have to decide whether they're going to always float underwater or if they're going to actually just walk underwater. The Justice League TV show we did, we had Atlantis under a bubble, and they just were walking around and breathing like normal people. And it wasn't until they got into the water that they actually were you know, different from normal people. In this one, we wanted them to be always underwater and to be in that environment constantly, so they're always floating and swimming to get from one place to another, and they breathe underwater, and which is where the gills come in. So what you get from that is it looks different than it would if they were just walking around like normal people.
Well, that gets specific down to how the fabric lays, like how the hair moves. That's that's a lot for animation for the hair to move. I mean, did that go into putting the characters together and how, like, literally how much was going to be undersea?
Well, I mean, we knew that, you know, hair was going to be floating, so, I mean, I don't know if that went into Phil's thinking, but
Yeah, I mean,
they all
for
have long hair.
Right.
Even Aquaman's hair is a little longish, and it looks really good waving under the water.
Yeah, you have to treat it as though it's almost like the current would, tend to move there, almost like there's always a breeze underwater. So that also affects the way that you approach, clothing and drapery. You can especially see it in Queen Atlanta's design, because she has like long flowing gown, and we try to come up with stuff that will look really good in that context, given that there's always going to be a subtle motion on the characters.
And I would put something in the script that's like, Orm runs down the hallway, and I'd get a note back that was like, maybe not running. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
You messed up that verb, Heath, really?
Totally.
Aquaman.
Well, no, Orm was under the
Well, I
water.
know, but it's an Aquaman thing. It's under.
Oh, okay,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
All right.
Andrea, oh boy, I'm so excited to talk to you. So there have been a couple of changes in the casting from War till now. Like Jason O'Mara still Batman, Christopher Gorham Flash, please Shamar Moore, and Cyborg Sean Astin as Shazam. But Rosario Dawson as a Wonder Woman. Is this the first time she's ever done Wonder Woman?
First time she did Wonder Woman, not the first time she's worked for me.
Oh, who else has she done?
She was, I think, Artemis in the Wonder Woman piece that we did forever
great,
ago.
of course.
And just terrific, and so lovely to work with. And we had really been looking for something more to work with her on, and her schedule was so crazy. And actually, we did record her from here. She was here in New York, and we recorded her. We were in Los Angeles. She was here, but we wanted her to be a part of it.
Here's the thing, like, what is the database in your head like? Because Jerry O'Connell is Superman. For those of you who know, and I'm assuming all of you, Jerry O'Connell was Captain Marvel once, a long time ago.
He was.
So now he gets to play both of them, because why not be married to Rebecca Romijn and get to be Superman and Captain Marvel? But whatever. Sure, why not? But like, how does that go? Like, what sparks in your head to go, oh, he would be perfect?
We really, casting-wise, we work as a group. We do it. I can't say that it's just me. My job is to come up with ideas, and then everybody else has ideas, and we throw it all together, and we all talk about who we like and what we want to go with, and who will sound good next to somebody else. And that has to be a consideration, because we may have said, okay, here's the 5 actors who want to play this character. Here's the 5 actors for character B. Here's the 5 actors for character C. We go to that first list. That Batman's not available. Go to the second Batman. That Batman can do it. Now, how does that pair with the first Green Lantern we wanted to use, or whatever? I'm talking about initial casting. And so we have to look and go, that Green Lantern's going to sound stronger than that Batman. We can't go that way. We have to look down our list again and see. So it really is like a big puzzle of putting together the right group of people that are going to sound like they live in the same world together, and that they look like what the characters are designed like. So it's really important to know, is Superman going to be a big-shouldered, really strong, small-waisted, huge-thighed guy?
Yes.
Or is he going to be a slighter Superman? Because the voice will be different. Is, Flash going to be really slim, or is he going to be a little bit bulkier this time? And so there's always those considerations as to what voice sounds right with what the character looks like.
Have you ever, I know there's certain animated series who get everybody in a room and record it that way. Have you done that?
That's my preferred way of recording. That's the way I like to record, is ensemble record.
Ensemble, always.
Because then reacting, which is half of acting, is able to be done then. You want to be able to have an actor say a line to a character, and then that character react to how he said it. So if I say, James, I like your glasses, he's going to respond in some one way. If I say, James, I like your glasses, same line, completely different delivery, his response is going to be different. So you want to
Come up and see me sometime.
So you want to get a back and forth. And so I like ensemble record. There are something like 27 actors in this piece. There isn't a studio in Los Angeles that can handle that many actors, nor were that many actors available at the same time. So we have to record in pieces. But I like ensemble record. I like hearing how the voices sound all together. Did you record by yourself?
I did. Yeah.
Good job.
We're getting to you. I have a question. So is just that? It's a softball. It's fine. So Heath, how does that work for you as the writer? If she gets that kind of group, like, what does that change for you? Does that add anything? Do you enjoy ad-libbing or that kind of reacting from the voice performers?
Absolutely. I mean, I have to say, I think I'm the first writer to ask to go to the records of these movies, because I was like, well,
You're the first writer we let go to the records.
That's right.
and they still let me. Where I'm 3 in, and they still let me come in. Sometimes they forget to tell me when they are, but I always find out, and I show up.
We forget to tell.
But I think it's great. I mean, obviously, we're all on the same team, so anything that makes the whole piece better, whether it's a line is too clunky or an actor goes, this isn't flowing off my tongue, can I say this instead? Or Andrea's like, this just doesn't work. Obviously, we want to make it the best product we can, and I'm part of a great team, and so I'm on board.
That's great. There are a lot of writers who ain't, and that's cool.
You know what? It's still got my name on it, so if they make it better, I still get the credit for the script.
That was a great line you wrote. Yeah, sure.
Doesn't matter. Improvise the best, funniest lines you can think of, Nathan. It's still my script. Now you don't know. Now you're never going to know. You're going to go, that guy didn't write that.
Matt, tell us about this version of Aquaman.
He's awesome. This is an origin story. So, I mean, for me, coming into it, I see it more about figuring out who is Arthur Curry in this moment and in this film more than it is about being the superhero Aquaman. For me, I mean, it was just figuring out who this guy is. He's dealing with some tragedies. He's going through tough moments in his life. He's just a person that's damaged on the inside, and so this is kind of his journey through that.
Now, how does that, as an actor, like being able to translate what you do through your voice? I mean, you have experience doing this. You're very good at it. Knowing that this was really retelling Aquaman's story, how did that kind of get you into the mindset of that kind of person, as opposed to, well, let's say other damaged heroes you've been playing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think first and foremost it starts with the script, and it was there for me already. You know, the lines were there, and the story was there, and it was already interesting. So I didn't have to, make up any of that for myself. It was already there. Of course, Andrea is here to kind of guide me through that.
What's that like? She's right here. Just pretend she's not. What's that like?
Really intimidating. She's the greatest. I mean, she's obviously extremely talented and knows what she's doing. So you put your trust in her when you're in the booth, and you don't really have a whole lot to worry about. Really.
Do you like that? Do you like what she likes, the ensemble, being able to record with others when you get the chance?
Yeah, I think that's always best. I mean, it's always best when you have other actors in the room, and you can do just as Andrea said. You can bounce lines off of each other, and you can do it 3 different times, and it might be different 3 different ways, and it actually might feel like 3 different scenes, even with the same words. But I think that's always beneficial, but unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that most of the time.
It just makes it that much more special when it does.
Yeah, exactly, it does. So
because there's a lot of booze, right?
booze, like
yeah,
as drinking.
It's
or
an open
booze
bar,
comes
right?
down?
No,
because I get both when I'm in there. She's like, no, not good. But it's always good to record with people. But unfortunately, it's just a lot of voice actors. We're pretty used to it.
How does that recording process work with throwing punches, getting hit? Like, do those sound effects come in before? Do you know when they're going to be choreographed?
Let's do a little experiment, shall we? Throw a punch. Take a punch. See how different they are? Really different sounds.
Do you have excuse me, an encyclopedia? I'm throwing a punch. Do you have like an encyclopedia of, gut shot, kick in the groin, like kick in the knee, like this is the kind of sound I want? And that didn't
She
sound
totally
like
does.
I do.
like that was a hit in the ear. That's not a knee.
Right. Because a hit to the gut sounds different than an uppercut. It's a different sound.
I love
I'm just
this
saying.
so
Which
much.
is different than somebody going into a wall. Yes.
Man, that's huge. What'd you say? That's why she's the best. I know, right? Everybody else needs to give up. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, it's now that time. If you would like to ask these folks some questions, you oughta, because the best questions are going to take home one of these. Let's going to start over here to the left.
When someone approaches you and say, "Do you want to play a superhero?" you pretty much say, "Yeah," because it'd be stupid not to. But I mean, it's great. It's amazing to be a part of the DC world and with the Justice League. I mean, it's cool, man. I imagine if someone approached you, it's the same feeling, you know. So I as an actor kind of have the luxury of not really having to be familiar with everything that Aquaman has been through and every battle that he's faced and every character that he's taken a punch from, because we're starting new, and it's his origin story. So all I really, honestly, had to be familiar with was this script and who is Arthur Curry at this point in his life.
Thanks, Matt. Good question. Right on. All right, let's go over here. This gentleman here. Bat family. Ace the Bat Hound.
I would love to do that, and so if I love it, it will happen.
Dude, thank you. Good question. All right, over here.
Both.
In a
Thank you. What do you think of
All
that?
right.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean they'll be. Yeah, I mean we're not. It's not like we're literally doing just New 52 stories. We just use the New 52 as a springboard to establish a new DVD continuity. It's kind of like Marvel has its movie continuity. That's kind of what we're doing with these DVDs. And so if there's a story we like that happened before New 52, we'll adapt it. It won't be exactly like the story was. It'll be an adaptation. So, but the work, stories are open to us. We're not locked into just what's done by the New 52.
But if you omit a character, there's a chance that character is going to get their own movie then.
Whatever you say.
Just saying, Bawana Beast, yo.
Wannabes, hey.
It's not a hobby, people.
Detective Chimp.
Thank you. All right. Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, I said to someone said something like this earlier, but everyone knows about Aquaman. Even if they may think of him in less than stellar terms, they may think of, he's a well-known character. Even if they're just making fun of him, everyone knows about him. They may not know who he is or what his backstory is, and hopefully these kind of things will enlighten them and to know why he's cool. But he already has all the name recognition any character would want, so it's a good thing. Even if the reason is because people were making fun of him, a lot of people know him who wouldn't normally know him, who don't read comics. So we're taking advantage of that knowledge and showing them the real deal, who Aquaman really is.
That's all I want to do in the world is a Justice League International. It was the very first thing I came in and pitched when I met these guys was Justice League International, and I've been banging the Justice League International drum the entire time. Someday maybe they'll listen to me. I don't know. I'm dying for it.
Dude, Maxwell Lord, that's...
Right?
You see? Come on.
Come on.
Justice League Antarctica, you pull Europe in, get
Brian
Metamorpho.
Posen
Let's
is
talk
Nord.
more
I
later.
got the whole thing. See me afterwards. I'll give you my whole spiel. I do a tight 20 on Justice League International.
All right, over here.
For this line, I mean, and I've said this elsewhere, but we do 3 movies a year. 2 of them will be in continuity, and so the style will be courtesy of Mr. Barassa. So you'll get that connected style. The third one-off, the one-off is the third movie in the line, and it can be anything. So Arkham was different than what Phil normally does. The next movie that comes in line, we've already announced, but Bruce Timm is doing that movie. There That's the one-off for next year. So we have one more in between that. But anyway, so 2 in Phil's style, and then 1 in whoever's style. So that's how we decide. And the story dictates the style. So.
Good question. Right over here.
You know what? There's actually a lot of similarities. I mean, both the characters are going through tough times. Both characters are being, they've got power and responsibility being put on them when they don't even necessarily want it. You know, Anakin was the chosen one, and he didn't even know what that meant or necessarily wanted it. Same thing with Arthur Curry. I think that you'll see in this film that he's being approached with this great responsibility that he really kind of wants nothing to do with at first. I think it's more of a natural reaction, actually, kind of going like, "You want me to do what?" So, but I think there's a lot of similarities in the characters, more than differences. So, yeah, interesting observation.
They both get their hands cut off.
Whoa. Spoiler.
Yeah, thank you.
It's when you drop the podium and walk off stage. All right, over there.
It's not out of my comfort zone, but it's, you know, casting a character like Batman that everybody has an opinion about, in the first place, some 20-odd years ago, was really, really, for the animated series, was really, really intimidating because it is such an iconic character. And then the 17 subsequent times I've had to cast that voice, it never got easier. It's always that same issue of everybody has an opinion about it. And then, because we did make a really good series with Batman, the animated series, a lot of fans... Thank you.
Oh, yeah, baby!
Thank you. A lot of fans really think that Kevin Conroy is the only Batman.
The only Batman, Andrea!
And some are here.
He's stunning. The truth of it is, regardless of what actor I'm using to play the voice of Batman, and I've hired some remarkably talented actors who have done wonderful jobs, when I prep a script that has Batman in it, it's Kevin's voice I hear. I can't help it. It's so many years, so many episodes, so many movies with Kevin. So it's not out of my comfort zone to cast other people for these roles. It's just very difficult. There's a lot of opinions. There's fan opinions. There's crew opinions. There's DC opinions. There's a lot of different factors that I have to sort of weigh. And then there are people that I feel very strongly that I will fight for because I truly believe they're the right actor. And then there are some where I'm just like, you got 5 guys that are all equally as good. They all will do an awesome job. Which one is better for this project? As a casting director, my job is to present those 5 actors to you, producers, animation directors, everybody else. You guys tell me who you want.
Good question. Nice work. Over here.
That's actually a really good question. I think we want each movie to be able to be viewable in on its own, so there's an entry point that anybody can watch anyone at any time. But also it was really fun to be able to continue the dynamics that we set up with Justice League War. So you're still going to see Green Lantern and Batman rub each other the wrong way. We're going to take another step forward in the Superman-Wonder Woman relationship. You're going to see a lot of the things that we started come back around, and I think that's really exciting because we're building this continuity universe.
Let's go over to this person.
Really don't take pitches as much as DC represented by Mike Carlin, Alan Burnett, who's our story editor, co-producer, and myself kind of work out what's going to be next, and then we pitch that to home video. Sometimes an idea is pitched to us from them. Like Arkham was a tie-in with the with the video game, and that came about from their end of it. We didn't know it was coming. We thought Arkham was going to be more to do with the graphic novel, the Grant Morrison novel, when we were told they were interested in Arkham, and turned out it was a video game. I was like, oh, okay. a very different movie altogether if it had been the graphic novel. But in regards to Jeff Johns, those suggestions came when we first decided to change the lineup and start this new continuity. And he was very involved in it at that point. Now that we're further along with these movies, you know, we've been working on movies that'll come out in the next year after that, and he has involvement, but he's not, you know, he's not telling us what to do.
All right. Yes.
Maybe, yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't, you know, I think the feature guys, you know, are working on getting their movies really going. So I don't think they want any competition or any. They're going to let us stay where we're at right now, and that's fine because we have a lot of autonomy and freedom that I don't want to give up by having to do something on a much bigger scale. You know what I'm saying? So we're happy doing what we're doing and just making the next one bigger and better than the one before. It's all good. It's a good time to be a DC fan.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. Phil Barassa, Heath Corson, Andrea Romano, James Tucker, Matt Lantner, everybody.
New York fans rock. You guys rock.